Hi guys, welcome back. Bitcoin is pumping as expected to the upside as I had predicted it just yesterday. And now the major question is, where will we go next? Will we get a small pullback before we go to $100,000, or are we going straight over that price level and into new all-time high? All of that I'm gonna tell you in this episode, so don't miss out on that, and let's go guys. Thank you so much for tuning in into this episode. I'm gonna go here in a second directly into detail what happened, why Bitcoin broke to the upside. But first, we need to talk about the DXY, because the DXY is pumping based on certain news that were released here. So I'm not surprised about that. We're retesting the 100 point level here. I mentioned it just yesterday that I would expect something like this, but also a rejection from here. So even if we would get here by tomorrow over the 100 point mark, expect by Monday that we come back down here, especially into the FOMC meeting. Now, what is one of the big news that came out today, which is crazy for Bitcoin? One of them was that the White House says gold reserves may be used to purchase Bitcoin, and that is huge. So now imagine that every single ounce of gold will be converted into Bitcoin. In my opinion, that will send Bitcoin within 2 weeks to over $200,000, maybe even faster than that, or even higher than that, because that is something that we were anticipating for so long, and now it's finally potentially happening if the White House actually goes through with that. Another reason why Bitcoin pumped is that the June outlook for the FOMC meeting now is banking on a 55% chance of getting a rate cut. And I think the closer we get to June, the higher the chances are getting here. But we should also not forget that in 6 days, we have an FOMC meeting. So here, of course, there are the chances 4.7% right now that we get a rate cut, but I would not rule out that we get a surprise and actually get a rate cut already in 6 days. If not, that's fine. Then we get one in June for sure, and then we know that everything will definitely go ballistic over the summer. So now when we go into Bitcoin, here we get a nice move all the way up to $97,600. Remember, I also talked about this level just yesterday. So now we broke out ascending triangle, but I'm gonna tell you here in a moment why I'm not happy with that breakout. So even though the indicators are looking bullish, stochastic gave us a buy signal as expected, MACD is turning around, also giving us a buy signal here in the next 5 hours, and the RSI is still in bullish territory, not overheated just yet. On the 1 hourly chart, here you see now why I have a problem with the breakout. So we're technically not too early with the breakout, but we're just, I would say, just around the perfect level where we should have broken out. So here that would have been like the perfect breakout window, kinda. So, and I don't like that we broke out that early within that breakout window. Now, what most likely is going to happen, so it's most likely going to happen, is that we are either bouncing off the 0.786 at $96,400 back to the upside, or that we go all the way down to the golden ratio, which I anticipate that we're going there to around $95,700, $800 roughly, and from there get a bounce back to the upside, most likely after a small consolidation here over the weekend in that range, and then we get a pop into next week. At least that's what I'm seeing here currently unfolding. Because like I said, this was a little bit prematurely for me. I would have rather have seen that 12 hours later or at some point tomorrow happening, and not that early. But that's fine. That's fine. So at last we got a breakout. Now we get here a bullish retest, and then we get continuation to the upside. And as you can see here, I draw the fips from the top to the bottom here, and that's how I came up with the levels. You see here now in the take profit area why I had drawn that box here, even without knowing that we get here at that top, and said we should take profits and not screenshots here, because the golden ratio is more or less in alignment with that here around the $100,000 level, and the 1.3821 is also exactly in the middle from that take profit zone. So you see there is confluence why you should take profit here in that area and not wait for a specific dollar amount. Just take, when we enter this area, always a little bit profit. The higher we go, you take more profit until you're out of your position. The MDX ALGO scalp gradients, here also we get another reversal indication here by hitting here that crucial resistance at $97,528. Again, that was really close to the $600 level that we went up to, and that's why I said yesterday, when we get up here to this level there, if you're currently in a trade, take some money off the table, raise your stop loss, and so on and so on. And because also the reactor indicator is heating up here, but is still fine. We're just here just warming up. We are not super overheated yet. And also when we go and look at the colorization of the MDX ALGO scalp gradient, we are also here just warming up, getting here in a purple reddish phase, and we hadn't had a reddish phase yet, so we can't technically pump here higher, but we need to break $97,500 to actually be able to manage that. And at the same time, we're here currently at a resistance level here in purple. As you can see, that is a huge sell order block, so we need to get through that to get here into the psychological resistance of $100,000. On ZoomX, my trades of course still running here, way higher in profit than it was previously, so $1,700. If you're in the same trade, amazing, let it run. I'm not changing anything for the time being here. I want to remind you guys that you can still take part here in the lucky draw to win a Formula 1 ticket to Miami and Monaco. If you sign up here on ZoomX and take part in the lucky draw, every single day you get here tickets, and every single time you win at least something, you know, so it doesn't matter if it's here 1,000 chip, you know, $100 USDT, here free that VIP ticket, a signed hat, you know, F1 paddock pass, whatever it is, you're definitely going to win something by spinning the wheel. The only thing that you need to do is sign up and trade on ZoomX, guys. The link is in the pinned comment below and also in the description of this video. Now, going into the liquidation levels, then you can see that we have taken out the high leverage liquidity on the short side. So that I was talking about, that will lead to a short squeeze. That short squeeze happened. We stepped here into the $97,500 area where we have now low leveraged short liquidity. That's not so interesting, but here high leverage liquidity on the long side will be untapped, remain untapped in my opinion, because it's just sitting too low right now, unless we get a crazy catalyst that will send Bitcoin into this price range here. Rather, I think that people after the pullback around $95,000 will start building new long positions, and then that will be a technical target for liquidity providers and market makers to come down to at some point before they're going to send it to $100,000. The liquidation heat map also shows clearly that short squeeze that happened. We were talking about this just yesterday. You know, it happened exactly as I told you guys, so you could have had taken advantage of that super easy by just following what I had told you. Now when we go to the 2 weeks chart, let's see where the next areas are of interest. Some areas here, yeah, so there is, you see around the $100,000 mark, and here at 98,000, these are the next targets here. To the upside, to the downside, there is not really a lot, as you can see on such a big time frame. And then here long term, definitely 108, 110,000 is what we should be eyeing with, and then a new all-time high for Bitcoin. Now, when we look at the total free market cap, we are still trying to break here through the $835 billion mark. I definitely expect this to be happening here at any given moment. We're trying here for so many days now. It's for me a little bit irrational why it's not happening. Just want to refresh and see. Yeah, okay, we got now a little bit rejected. So, but again, this is a question of days, in my opinion, before we go through that, and then you're going to see here a nice pop in major altcoins. Again, the Bitcoin dominance, yeah, pumping here back to the upside, to the top of that rising wedge pattern. Got rejected here massively yesterday, so I expect another rejection. But it could happen there when we get actually a rate cut, that the dominance will spike to 67, 68%, and potentially even 70%, and only turn around from there with a huge deviation, so something like that, and comes down, then goes to the downside. So I want you to prepare for that, but it doesn't mean that altcoins will not perform, you know, at the same time, but of course not as much as if the dominance would just fall off a cliff, you know. So it's still happening, but we need to wait for that. In the meantime, we can trade altcoins here on Bybit, guys. Don't forget, I'm trading all my altcoins on Bybit. You still get $30,000 worth of bonuses. You can get a Bybit card. There's a free airdrop position still available. All in the pinned comment below and in the description below. Just take advantage of that. And I'm gonna start a new trading Telegram group really soon, guys. You don't want to miss out on that. A lot of alpha will be dropped there. Yeah, I'm gonna create that in the next couple of days. and then we're going to make a lot of money together. And here comes the kicker: this group will be for free, guys. It will be for free, so look out for that. But you definitely need a Bybit account, so sign up while it's still free. Then Ethereum pumped here also today a little bit to the upside. Was anticipated, as I mentioned yesterday. When Bitcoin pumps, Ethereum will pump. The next logical target is $1,920, but I'm telling you, set your stop loss to $1,735 if you're in this trade setup, just to make sure that once the trade potentially turns against you, that you're protected and walk away with a little bit of profit and no profit. If we would break through $1,950, then I would also raise my stop loss once again to $1,820. Like I said, just to step-by-step protect the money that we are making here on the way to the upside. And Solana tried to break out of that falling, broadening wedge, got rejected. That's why I said take some money off the table yesterday. I hope you did that. Otherwise, you still have now time to do that. I'm not saying close the whole position, but take a little bit off. And raise your stop loss here to like $146, just in case if it turns against you, that you walk away with a little bit of money and did not risk any of your hard-earned money. Because the indicators here on the 4-hourly chart are telling me that we're potentially turning around here. But let's see what the 1-hourly says. The 1-hourly says we're going to get continuation to the upside, most likely for the next 3-4 hours. So we could potentially see another attempt at $157. But there I would definitely, that's like the last point where I would start taking some money off the table and raise my stop loss, guys. Then Coti is here right now on a massive run. So we have here created now a huge buy order block, which is really, really good for us. After that breakout. So here the next major move that I see is to like the 10 cents level. If you would have been here in that swing trade all the way from down here that I had given, when was that? 3 weeks ago, I think. 3 weeks ago when we talked about this, you could have gotten in here. Yeah, almost 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so you would be up now insanely. You would be up right now 51% without leverage. If you keep holding the trade to the 10 cent level here, 83% plus the leverage that you use. So insane trade that we're currently in, massive profit. And there's, we are not at the end yet. As you can see, the stochastic has still room to go up. The MACD just flipped bullish. The RSI is also still kind of bullish and in bullish territory. So there is still, continuation there in my opinion. But I will also not rule out if tomorrow's candle or the next 12-hourly candle goes down, then we're going to have a small reversal back to like 7.7 cents, most likely almost 7.9 cents. Consolidate there a little bit, and then from there gain momentum to continue to rip to the upside. So if we break at any given moment here 9 cents, and that would be another point of entry for me in direction of 11 and 12 cents. Then Sui still fighting with the golden ratio here. Once the golden ratio is broken, I would enter that here in direction of $4.50 and the $5 mark. But currently it looks like we're going to get a small turnaround, consolidate, and then try another time. Render is definitely on a run here right now, especially on the 1-hourly chart. Everything is setting up for continuation. So if you're not in that trade yet, at $4.65 would be for me the last moment to enter if we get a 30-minute candle close above that level, and then also trade this into $5. That would be still a nice juicy trade here of around almost 8%. Okay, let it be 7.5%. But in the overall trade setup from all the way down here where we are in, we are already really close to our technical target, and here up roughly 9.4% currently. We're not far away from our target, and it looks like that we are going to reach it in the next couple of days. Guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more money in your portfolio tomorrow.